All right, everybody. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Heal Me Podcast, episode 8. Now, with this episode, I'd like to title it The Moments. Because since my last episode, I recorded on a Saturday. And so in the beginning, I was usually doing an episode on a Sunday, doing an episode on a Wednesday, and I'd wake up that day and record that episode. And of course, upload it and whatnot. So, since my last episode of The Mind, talking about the mind and how we create our own universes, we are our own universe by our thoughts. Good thoughts got good consequences, bad thoughts got bad consequences. I really been thinking about my life, how far I've come, where I'm going. Things are going to change, always. Things are always changing. And so I really have to learn to enjoy the moments because that moment can change. And you'll never know that it's a moment until it becomes a memory. Till that moment becomes a moment. Like, I remember that moment that I shared with that person. I remember that in that moment of me healing, I was doing those podcasts, telling my story. I remember that moment, that time. I was telling my story because I don't know where I'm headed. I don't know if I'm going to continue to do these episodes. I don't know if I'm going to continue to do music. I don't know if I'm going to continue to be in the paranormal. I don't know if I'm going to continue, how long I'll continue in my business that I'm trying to run. But I have to learn to, while I'm doing these things, enjoy it because it can change. And the thing that triggered me into realizing that these are moments, these are memories. Every day you're creating memories. Create memories with your children. You create memories with family members. You create memories with romantic relationships. You create memories with friends. And you just gotta, I guess, kind of look at life like it's simple. You make choices and you can't look back. You may lose some people, you may lose some opportunities, but you can't sit and dwell on it. You can't sit and wonder if things could have been different. I believe now that whatever's meant to be will be. You can't try to. I know I've said it in one of my episodes where you can't fight fate. You can't. But you can learn to enjoy what's presented to you at that given moment. So the thing that triggered me yesterday, my sister was telling me about how she's kind of been in a bad mood, acting kind of grouchy, probably being a pain in the ass towards her boyfriend. And then they figured it out. It was her monthly cycle that females experience was coming to visit her. And so her emotions were all over the place. And so I was in my head talking to myself about it, about her situation, kind of like, dang, man, good thing you ain't got to put up with that, with me being single and whatnot. Not really. talking to any female, trying to get to know them or anything. But I told myself in my head, like, man, see, it's good. You don't got to put up with that, that attitude. And then another voice in my head told me, what if you never get to experience that again? I think the only time I really ever experienced that, well, no, because even me being with some of my females that I was with, they were on the birth control, which would stop the period or their monthly cycle, but sometimes they would still get it. And, I guess their mood swings would be all over the place, but my head was telling me, like, what if you never get to experience that ever again? The mood swings. The give and take. Trying to learn that you gotta be there for your lover, your relationship. You gotta be there for them during that time because they're not themselves at that time. And what if you never get to experience that moment again? What if you never get to experience that with another female ever again? But during the time that it was happening with whichever female I was with at the time, or trying to think back, did I enjoy that moment that I was sharing with them? Because I know at that moment we were together. And now we're no longer together. And I think back on it now, and it's like you should have enjoyed that moment because, yeah, maybe things went bad between that person, but that was a moment. And it became a memory. And you probably won't experience that again. You don't know. You don't know if you'll ever experience that again, and you took that moment for granted. And it goes into that whole deal of you don't know what you got till it's gone. You really don't know. You may, it's kind of like some people can say, they can look from the outside looking in. People can tell you, like, man, you dodged a bullet. You know what I'm saying? That girl was crazy. That guy was crazy. You dodged a bullet. You'll find somebody better. But nobody could feel what you feel during that moment. Nobody will know if you really enjoyed that person. You know. And so with that being said, I had told myself too, before I brought it up to my sister, it's like, but I got my daughter. I can experience that with her. Her cycles like that, then that falls into being a good dad. Because I started to think about it, and it's like I'm creating memories with these children. I'm raising these children. Why can't I put my focus on that and learn to enjoy those moments with them? Because they're going to grow. They're going to get older. They're going to live their own life. And the time that I have with them is very limited. I need to start teaching them now life. Teaching them now about life, life skills, the things that I wasn't taught to me. Not give them what wasn't given to me, but teach them what I didn't know. Teach them what I've learned. Teach them the right ways, and I can create those moments with them like that. And that's why I really had to stop that drinking, because they were learning that's a way to cope when things go wrong. That's something to run to when I could say that I want to have fun. I have to get them to unlearn all those moments that they had seen me acting out like that, and teach them new things, like starting a business, chasing your dreams, creating. Teach them that we have a purpose, but we'll never know as long as we're distracted. I talk to my kids like this too. Try to get them to explain the free will, the mind, the addictions, the cycles, the distractions. And I can only hope that they're smarter than I was when I was faced with those decisions. No, that they're smarter to see and not be blinded by their heart. I think the heart, you can't you can't look at things with your heart. You gotta look with your mind. Like, see it for what it is. Don't try to change it. The only thing that we can change is ourselves. I can't change nobody else. I can't change a situation. I can only change me. And I have to try and teach them that. Try to learn to control their emotions. And that's something that they'll look back and they'll remember those moments that we shared together of learning when they're faced with these decisions in life. I created that moments with them, trying to teach them, and they'll look back and they'll remember. I remember that moment when my dad would teach me these things. He told me that I'll be faced with this. Because a lot of us we're walking around, going through life and not really knowing. We just learning as we going. So what's our purpose with our children? We got to teach them. That's how I look at it. I even started to think about generational curses. Because if you know my story, you know that I kind of messed up. If I were to go into real detail, it's like I messed up a lot. And that's life, right? As long as you learn from it. And so I could sit back and I can remember when my kids were being born, I just never wanted them to feel what I felt growing up. And I guess I was real angry. I was sad. But it's nobody's fault. Everything happens for a reason. But I remember I would tell them, their mom when we were young, it's like, I just don't want these kids to ever feel what I felt. And what the fuck did I do? It's like it's inevitable. The generational curses, I feel like they're inevitable until somebody looks at it and puts it to a stop. I started to think back on everybody that I know, people around me. Even my aunt that passed away not too long ago, she passed away from domestic violence, from a relationship that she was in. And I started to think about it, and it's like she grew up without a dad. And so when my aunt was murdered, it's like, things don't click until now. If I could sit here by myself, that's what I was telling my sister, you really got to sit with yourself for a while by yourself, and you'll start to really put the pieces together. So my aunt was murdered, and she left behind a child, her only child. And my aunt grew up was missing one parent. And so which caused my grandma to work like a lot. She was a nurse. So she was always working, busy schedule out there in West Texas, especially for the nurses. Shout out the nurses. So in a way, my aunt was like, she had no guidance. That's how I feel. Everybody's just doing it to the best of their ability. And I know when she had my little cousin, she probably wasn't thinking, or she probably was thinking, I think that's everyone's intentions if we can look back on it. And even though a lot of us are not with that significant other that we had children with, we had no ill intention. I think everything, things could have been bad, things could have been rocky, but it's like we had children with that person. And we probably thought in our head in that moment that it was going to be forever. We had no ill intention of hurting these children. We planned on giving these children what we didn't have. And so looking back on it, it's like my aunt grew up without a father, grew up with a missing parent. Let's put it like that. There was a parent missing in her life. And then what did she give to her child? A missing parent. Same with me. I just didn't want my kids to grow up feeling any type of way. Because I didn't have, I guess, my real father. I really didn't know him at all. My stepfather came in at the age of 8. And so, if you know my story, me giving my kids up, that shit ate me alive. That moment ate me alive. But it was trying to happen. It was trying to fall on my children what had been done to me in some form or fashion. I know a lot of people don't realize what they're doing. Maybe their parents were killed at a young age, or their parents been gone for since a young age, and it's like you realize that you're abandoned, and you're abandoning your children as well, because you're choosing to live the life that you're living instead of being there for your children. We don't know what we're doing in that moment, though. We're just doing what we think is best for us. And maybe that's what life is for some people. Maybe it is in that moment. But I feel like we gotta stop. We gotta break those generational curses. We gotta change the mindset of people, of ourselves first, though. It has to change. There's no way that this is the way it's supposed to be. And that's just me. That's just my mind. This is how I am in this moment. And things are going to change. They can change. They're constantly changing. And I have to learn to enjoy this right here, right now, what I'm doing right here, right now in front of me. Because it can change. Something could happen. Don't know. I can't worry about it. All I can do is do my best to enjoy this moment that I'm creating in front of me. Back in 2020, I was doing music like full time. I had 2 jobs. But that music, man, I was chasing after it hard. And I'm still chasing it, don't get me wrong. But now I just got a lot more stuff in front of me. But that moment, it became a moment. That grind that I had for that music, that drive I had for the music. I was going to come out with a music video every month. I was going to create a short film. Like I had a whole plan. And it all went away. Because I can get it back. But right now, it's just like, it's a little bit more difficult. But it was a moment. And I took it for granted. We take a lot of things for granted. And that's why I've been even even like, of course, like looking back on relationships and trying to understand relationships, even people's not trying to understand people's relationships, but like trying to understand the concept of it all and give my insight. That's it. I'm simply just giving my insight. And it's kind of like that whole thing, like, people come back. Your ex comes back. Why? Why come back now? Why? You had me. You had all of me. This is just people in general. Like, people go through this shit every day, and it's like, why try to be good to me now? Why try to fix things now? And it's just like, you don't know what you got till it's gone. They didn't know what they had till it's gone. And so, yeah, people can change. I believe it, because I'm changing. I'm changing. That's one moment that I do not want to take back is all that fucking alcohol. All that alcohol, man, I do not want to take that moment back. That's a moment that, I mean, it made me better. I have to look at it like that. Like all that drinking that I was doing, and it was bad. Like, it was real bad. But I outgrew it. I outgrew that moment. It was a bad moment. It was very bad. And I outgrew it. I outgrew it. I'm done with it. And that's how I have to look at whatever I was involved in at that time. When I was at that low frequency, I outgrew it. I outgrew all of it. Because you have to grow or you'll stay stuck. If you've really been following me, I had a TikTok before I got off social media. And I would upload these little episodes of me talking before actually coming in here into the studio and getting on the mic and doing all this. And it was kind of like the early stages of the Heal Me podcast before the Heal Me podcast was even developed. And, just insight, when I was making those videos, it was when me and my ex would separate and she would take off. And then I'd sit there and I'd try to reflect on it, because I didn't want to be with nobody else. Like society tells you, just start talking to someone else, go get under someone else, yada, yada. So anyways, and I had my kids too, so I didn't want to bring another woman around, stuff like that. But it just showed growth. And now that I look back on it, it's like, man, I had the opportunity to do those things. And it's like, who I was before I met her, I probably would have. I don't know. But I outgrew it. I outgrew that moment. But anyways, yeah, if you if you go back to my old TikToks and my Facebook, if I ever put it back up, I had a video of me talking about losing your best friend and how that concept really, it's in today. Like, it still goes with today, that concept of losing your best friend, because my daughter was telling me she was leaving elementary and going to junior high. Or she already had, yeah, and I was picking her up from junior high. And I was asking her, you still see your friends, whatever, because, like, if you listen to my story, then, let my daughter, she's got a thing with friends, like. And so I would ask her, like, you still see this girl that was her friend in elementary, and, like, they were in every class, every grade through elementary, and now in junior high, of course, they're still friends, but, like, the more you stop spending time with that person, you start to forget them because you outgrow them, And then I had to explain it to my daughter like that. You're growing up. You're moving up. You're moving to a different school. You're moving to a different grade. People are gonna start. Your friends are gonna start meeting other people. You're gonna start meeting other people. you'll start diving into different ventures. They'll start diving down different ventures if they're going to go. I remember when I was 12, that's when I was introduced to marijuana. And I wasn't like a pothead or nothing, but that's because why? Because that's what my friends was doing. You know, we started doing music, you know, back then it was like frowned upon. Now everybody's just like, yeah. but back then it was frowned upon. It's like, oh, those guys are bad guys because, you know, they smoke weed and they make rap music. And so I had to explain to my daughter, like, she was your friend and she probably still is your friend. But if her parents allow her to have a boyfriend, then that's where all her focus is going to be on. If she finds another friend, then she's going to start spending time with that friend. She starts wearing makeup, you're not going to start wearing makeup, you know? And you have to just realize that every day, the people that are in our lives, you got to enjoy that moment if you really like being with them, because that moment can change. You're going to outgrow them, or they're going to outgrow you, or you'll grow together, you know? I would tell her, like, there's some friends that go all the way to college together because they choose to grow together. But if your friends don't want to put the work in school, and I'm guilty of this too, because I failed a grade, and all my friends that moved up weren't my friends anymore. There was, you know, but I made new friends, and that's why I had to tell my daughter, if people don't want to put the work in to grow with you and go to that next level, then you're gonna have to move on without them, and they're gonna have to stay behind until they learn their lessons in life to grow. But now they're staying behind, and that's why I put together that a lot of people that I've left behind, they're stuck, and that's why their mindsets are different. We're not gonna look at things the same, because those people that, yeah, they may be my age, but what's the lifestyle that they live in? Because that's their mindset. And that's why it's like I had come across a lot of people that are my age, 30 plus, but you're hanging out with 22-year-olds, because even in life is about grades, grade level. What's the grade level you at in life? And that's why people from my generation are hanging out with the younger generation. And what are you learning? What the younger generation is learning. They're stuck in that mentality. I've seen it. I've been around it too for 4 years. I feel like my life went nowhere. Because where was I at? In the bars, in the clubs, partying. I had lost myself bad. Not really taking care of my responsibilities as a father, because where my grade level was at. It's like, yeah, I had to educate, because I knew how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I had just come from having my own house, a mortgage payment, 2 paid off vehicles, and I gave it all up. And I went to living this life. And that's, you know, that's where I had seen another thing during my studying process, that you meet people at certain frequencies in your life. And so, like, if I'm up in my frequency level, like, I'm gonna meet people at that same frequency. But if I'm down and I'm vibrating low at a low frequency, which with the partying, if you're doing it consistently, you know what I'm saying? Like I've said before, people can go out and they can celebrate, you know, graduations or promotions or a release of a new song, and then that be it. It's a celebration, a birthday celebration. But nah, man, I was drinking every day, getting wasted. And it's like, I didn't drink just to feel good. I didn't drink to have fun. I would drink to black the fuck out. Like fuck this reality, fuck this moment. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting wasted. That was my mentality. And I was vibrating at a very low frequency. And during those times, I would meet people at that same frequency, not knowing. That's what I'm saying. I dived in. It's a whole nother world. And it's a whole nother world to be at a high frequency. And it's a different world to be in the middle frequency. You got to find where you're more comfortable and resonate there. Chill there in that moment because it can change. I believe that when I was coming up as a young adult and I had my kids and my mind was right, I was at a high frequency. I took care of business and nothing could get in the way of that. I also kept a lot of my moves hidden. I didn't let family know what I had planned. I didn't let friends, I didn't really have a lot of friends, but I kept those moves hidden from the world. I didn't post at all on social media. I wasn't really moving too big with the music. But then once I started to get that music moving, I believe that my frequency went even higher. Nothing was getting in the way of all that. Of any of it, nothing was going to get in the way of what I was chasing after. I was like, I had tunnel vision. You know, my kids were good. The house was good. The cars were good. Bills were paid. And I had money coming in consistently and I was putting it towards music. And then it was all gone. I took that moment for granted. I enjoyed it though. That's why I realized like that's my happiness right there. Even right now, like I'm building a business with my family and I enjoy it. I just enjoy it. I don't know why, but it puts me at a high frequency, so why wouldn't I stay chasing after it? I'm enjoying this moment right now. I'm teaching my kids and they're involved in it too. Everyone's involved in it. And I enjoy it. It's bringing a lot of good out of me. I'm not distracted by the fake life of in the club, in the bar, drinking and all that. It's fake. It's not real. I'm not distracted by the social media. I'm not distracted by the girls and the women that say they want to be with me and they don't know what the hell they want in life. Nobody does. Because if you did, we wouldn't be out here getting fucked up. We wouldn't be out here drinking. We wouldn't be at these low frequencies. We'd be at a high frequency. When you find something that makes you happy and you know that that's what you want in life, like, man, I'm not going to lose this. I'm not. You're at that frequency where nobody's going to get in the way of it. Nobody. Nobody or nothing. That's why I won't pick up that bottle. I don't care. Like, I seen what it could do to me. I seen where it can take me. I seen how low it could take me. It could take me to this level. And it's like, man, I sit back on it now and it's like, man, what the fuck was I thinking? I was just at a very low frequency though. And I outgrew everything that came with that. And a lot of people, I feel like they don't see that. They don't see it like that. They get so used to and they get so caught up in that moment and they don't ever want to get out of it. You get so used to being in that moment of that low frequency, even when you get yourself a little bit above it, you just go right back to it. I've done it. I did it for 4 years, on and off, in that moment of being so low. I understand that we all got issues, but I gotta grow. I have to grow. It becomes so miserable in my mind. That moments will become so miserable, and it was a reality that I had created in my mind because I was at such a low frequency in that moment. And that's one moment that I am 100% glad that I grew out of it. Like, fuck that moment. Like, fuck that moment. And everybody that was involved in it, like, I apologize. A lot of people saw it and it's just like, man, this ain't me, man. Every day I would tell myself this ain't me, and I don't know, it just changed. There was some good times in that moment, But if I have to let all of it go so I don't have to experience it no more than I have to grow. I have to let it go. And I have to be okay with it. Because at one time, I have to tell myself during that time of all that drinking, in that moment, I prayed for this. I prayed for this moment that I'm at now while I was in that dark moment. So I had to thank God that He got me out of it, man. I survived because a lot of people don't survive. A lot of people don't survive their addiction moment. They stay stuck in it. They teach their kids it. I've seen that where people grow up and it's like you're drinking with your parents. You're getting high with your parents. Not in the bad. And, there's some people that do it and like have a good time. That's one thing, if you keeping your goals, you're still reaching your goals. You're still reaching, taking care of business. It's not, I'm talking about like the full blown addicts. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the full blown alcoholics because I was one. And so it's like you get caught up because that's what the parents taught the children because the parents never outgrew that moment. They stayed in sixth grade. That's how I look at it. You stayed there in that lower grade. You didn't go to summer school to do the extra work to get to the next grade. And so your kids caught up with you. And now they're in the same grade as you. And now that's all they know because they reached your same grade level. And now y'all are in the same grade together. But you stopped at this grade level and they're in your child's head. That's it. Because we didn't show them anything better. They watched their parents get to this grade level and then that was it. So in your head, your child that's graduating. They made it to the same level as you. But I want to show these kids more. I know I can do this. I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna die trying. I'm gonna keep creating these moments with them because at the end of the day, they're all I got. They're my mission. That this is my mission. Because I can't live without them. I've tried it. Yeah, they're kids. Yeah, they get on my nerves. Yeah, they talk back. Yeah, we get into little arguments. But it's for life over here. It's for life. And they're going to have their own life. They're going to make their own decisions. And all I can do is be there. All I can do is be there for them and try to teach them. But most importantly, show them. Because I had to stop. I had to let go of that moment. Because I wanted it to stop. It was a very bad time. Very bad. It was the worst time of my fucking life, man. And that's what I'm saying. And during those moments, I never thought that I was ever going to laugh about it. And so during this time of isolation since April, May, June, July, just 3 months, 4 months. And that's how I know that I'm growing. I know that I'm healing like for real, the right way. Because I'm taking care of business. I ain't drinking. I ain't partying. I ain't having random sex. I'm sitting and reflecting and I'm taking accountability for me. For real, it's all my fault. I put myself down like that. I put myself there in that moment of that low frequency. And with the help of God, like shit, man, I got up. Dude, it's like my mind was so bad back then in that moment. And I thank God that I'm not in that moment no more. I survived that moment. And I'm very grateful for it because I thought it was going to take me. For real, that's how low it got in my head, in my brain, in my mind, and my frequency, and my energy level was just so low. It was so low. It was always raining. Maybe it was just raining in my head. It was so cloudy and gloomy. That low frequency ain't no joke. But I made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I always knew it. I just always knew it. I don't know if that's intuition or just, I knew that moment wouldn't last forever. And so I tried to hold on to like people that I had met during that time. I would keep going back. I would keep going back trying to fix the situation because it can be better. That was my mindset. Because I know this can't be it. This can't be life. This moment can't be it. But there's just some things that I should have let go a long time ago. I should have let it go a long time ago. I should have walked away a long time ago and got my shit together and led by example. You know, that's my fault. I was vibrating very low. I was vibrating very low. And like I look back on it and it's just like, I'm glad that it's over. I'm not like that no more. I can really say that. That shit is my past. And I would get into it with people and they would be like, oh, you're judging me because of my past. But it's not your past if you're still doing it. You're still living that way. And I mean, I don't look at it as judging, but I'm telling you the way you're living is wrong. We're parents. We need to be parents. We gave up our freedom. We gave up our life. We can still enjoy life. We just created a new one though, because we have children. We gave them life and we have to guide them now. It's time to put all that other shit away. We can't act like they don't exist because the universe don't like that shit. That's what I've come to the conclusion too. The universe don't play that. That's some huge karmic debt that you gotta pay. The universe will never let you to be happy. You abandon the life that you've created. And you're gonna have to pay for it. I think that's why, shoot, man, they would crucify me. They crucified me, man. That shit was horrible, bro. I thought I was never gonna get out. But I thank God that moment is over. Yeah, there's some things that I look back and it was like, yeah, I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I had never drinking or experienced that type of life growing up. So it's like, I had a choice, but I needed to experience it to know that's not what I like. I don't like that life, and I'm never going back to it. Never. I don't see myself ever picking up a drink ever again because I handled the situation all wrong. I could have been, but I do have to look at it from the brighter side. You know, I do have to look at it and be thankful that I went through it because now I can tell my story and I can maybe help other alcoholics, help other addicts, help other people struggling in relationships because it's like I know now that I should have been a different person in my relationships if I really wanted it to work, and I did. I should have been different. I should have went at it different, but what was I doing? I was drinking. You know, I was drinking a lot. I'm not going to blame it on the alcohol, but it's just like, this isn't me. I don't drink. I didn't drink for 27 years. Never. What changed? Because that moment changed of me not drinking for 27 years. And then I drank consecutively for 4 years. And I have to thank God every day that it was just 4. I thank God every day. It was just 4. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. It's like, you're not in control. You're not. You're vibrating at such a low frequency that bad energy is taking control of you in that moment. And that's why I had to look at myself and it's like, man, what are you doing? You're not even in control of your own life. I would black out and I'd start doing things, putting my hands on people. And like, it was kind of like I could see myself from the outside looking at the whole situation. I'd be fucking yelling at myself, like, what the fuck are you doing? But it's like I couldn't control my hands. I couldn't control my actions. I couldn't control my words. I was not in control at all. And I just thank God that that moment is done. It's done. It was bad time. You know, I enjoy being isolated. And a lot of people be calling me scared and shit, but you know, in those moments, man, it was probably the worst time of my life because that's not me. It wasn't me. It's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I don't look at it being scared. It's just like I know better now. That's how I look at it. I know better. Because I've been through it. It's like, man, yeah, I got bit by a snake. You going to keep going to the snake? Nah, you know that snake is going to bite. That alcohol will consume me and take me. And I'll end up in jail or I'll end up doing something that I'm going to regret. So why am I going to do it? Even like having sex with people, like, if I have sex with you, like, I'm not saying you're going to fall in love, but like we're going to feel attached to each other. And it's going to be hard to break free from that. And if you're still having sex or if I'm still having sex with somebody else, now we're all just having sex with each other. And it's like, man, I could feel all that. That's the thing with me as a person. I can feel it all. I could feel it all. I knew every time somebody already was with somebody else. A lot of people can't. I don't know what it is, man, but it's just like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to feel that because then I got to look at you a certain way. I have to put you in that category. And now during that moment, I can't forget that moment. I can't forget that feeling. How it feels inside of me to feel all the other people that you've been with. I don't like that. I don't like that, man. It's just, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I feel like life is, man. You learn the moments. Don't take the moments for granted. Learn yourself. Be yourself. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy what's in front of you. Do your best to let go of the past. And don't try to focus on the future because we don't know where we're going. Anytime you try to make a plan, it gets changed. Like things never go as planned. So I learned to stop making plans and just go with the flow. And try my best to enjoy what's in front of me too. For that's the main thing. That's been the hardest thing for me on my healing journey is just try to focus what's in front of me and enjoy it because it can be gone. Everything. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy your girl. Enjoy your significant other getting on your nerves because you could be by yourself. You could be making a podcast because there's no one to talk to. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. You know, enjoy your kids because they're going to grow up. You know, or they're going to start looking for the wrong crowd because they need attention. I've learned that that's what my son does. Like he'll start fights or he'll get loud because he wants someone to talk to him. Someone to interact with him, even if it's a bad interaction, like he's getting in trouble. Like he wants someone just to give him some attention, you know, and correct him. And I'm trying to teach him that you don't have to do that. Because I don't want that to go into his adulthood where he feels like the only way he can feel heard is if he starts fights or he gets loud and he's yelling and But this is a moment that I have to learn to enjoy. It's to guide him and like enjoy it. I have to enjoy it because he can go one or two ways, good or bad. You know what I mean? And he's either going to straighten up and he's going to change, or he's going to continue to do that shit and he's going to get in trouble. That's just how I look at it. But I have to learn to enjoy this moment with him. Same with my daughter, same with my parents, same with my family. I have to learn to enjoy moments because one day those moments will be gone. So if you're in a relationship, you're a single parent, it's not always going to rain, but learn to enjoy the rain. If you can learn to enjoy it and not take it for granted, then you're enjoying, you're living life, you're experiencing life with somebody, whether it be with your kids, family, romantic, friendships. Learn to enjoy it. Learn to enjoy those moments because they can get taken away from you. And then you'll start to notice that you'll meet somebody new. Yeah, you start talking to somebody else, but you could have been doing this with the person that you'd rather be doing it with. But instead, everything was always a fight. Everything was always difficult. Learn to enjoy those difficult times because they're not going to last forever. And that's what I believe that's all about. That's what boils down with life. Learn to enjoy it. Learn to enjoy the moments before they become memories. Finish out that life with that person. Finish out the life with your children. Finish out the life with your pets. Pets are gonna die. It's the facts. You know what I mean? You don't know what you got until it's gone. So I believe you just really gotta take care of what's yours at that moment and grow together. 'Cause you can outgrow people.
I'm gonna call this one Heal Me. You spend nights in the club and you be around people. You tired of taking drugs, tired of feeling evil. You let these men touch you, said you tired of being single. Said you wanna be submissive cause you tired of feeling equal. You want something different, maybe come and raise some kids with me. Tired of that small town mentality, you want some vitality. Relationships fatality, you see me go for mine and you say that you proud of me. You wanna know how I got so much drive. All the heartbreaks, all the wasted time. It's all about where you set your mind.